What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today on Pop or Flop, we're going to be going over the Big Lebowski spinoff. I guess. Let's get this over with. Cue the intro. I got the good stuff. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pop or Flop. Today we're going to be going over John Turturro's latest film, The Jesus Rolls. This is a very, very loose spin-off, 22 years in the making of the Coen brothers' beloved The Big Lebowski. What I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to review it two different ways. One is a standalone film, and just on a scale and merits in its own right. And lastly, we'll wrap it up as a addition to The Big Lebowski. So let's keep that in mind. So we are introduced to John Turturro's character, Jesus Quintana, who is just getting out of a bid of 8 months in prison for indecent exposure with the minor.
8-year-olds, dude.
Right there in your opening scene should tell you how cringy and what the hell kind of comedy am I getting involved with. The film doesn't stop there. Within a few minutes, we're introduced to his equally low-life friend, played by Cannavale, and the two are immediately thrown into a road trip of sorts that involves petty crime, a lot of sex, and a lot of why am I watching this moment. Regardless of how many characters are thrown into the mix for a supporting role, including Christopher Walken, Susan Sarandon, and Pete Davidson, it doesn't matter. These people, you could tell they're here for a favor, and it is sad. Overall, the film has an 85-minute runtime. It's barely an hour and 20 of real screen time, and it feels long. At the 20-minute mark, I was looking at my watch, and I was actually really grateful I rented this on video on demand for about half the cost of a movie ticket. I don't walk out of too many movie theaters. If I'm there, I'm there. This was one of the first instances where, man, an hour feels like forever. I think the biggest problem with, again, not looking at this as affiliated with The Big Lebowski. As a film in its own right, everything about this doesn't work. If we're looking at it as a comedy, the comedy's very stale. All the jokes fall flat, not even over your head as if you don't get it. It's more like, why did that drunk guy just make that disgustingly crude joke in front of that woman at the party? Repeat punchline, but the punchline never lands. So then looking at the film as if it was a drama, the biggest problem with that is even if we're supposed to like Jesus' character and his friend Petey, played by Cannavale, we have no emotional attachment to him. See, the biggest problem with a movie like this is if you don't create likability, you don't get rewatchability. And it's obvious. Almost nobody feels like they want to be here. And especially you could tell with the absence of the Coen brothers, Joel and Ethan, they basically just gave him the thumbs up. They were like, I guess you could use the Jesus character if you want. And I would feel utterly embarrassed at this product if I had to show filmmaking friends of mine, like, hey, you know, that spinoff you kind of gave me the blessing for, the thumbs up, the A-OK, what do you think of it? I don't even know if I'd be able to lie to somebody's face and say that this movie was good, because there's absolutely nothing about it that I enjoyed. All the jokes are just kind of up in the air. It seems like they had a scene and they were like, yeah, we'll just do this, and pulled it out of a bag and was like, is this funny? Well, we don't know until we release it for the audience to tell it isn't. It's not funny. This is a very sad gesture, as considering this as filmmaking, I would not. So now let's look at it as rating it affiliated with The Big Lebowski. The connection to this film is very short-lived. Actually, the only thing that really pops up is a little bit of bowling, and that even feels like it's just tossed in to make sure that the people that are watching this, because of the relation to the 1998 film, it's just like, yeah, you know, it's there. We got some bowling, and yeah, John Toturro licks a bowling ball, and sure, we have a few people say, you know, nobody fucks with the Jesus. Well, I could have told you that in 1998 when I saw his scene. Nobody fucks with the Jesus. Why was this movie made?
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
To try and create a connection with a beloved film like that, a comedy with so much rewatchability. I mean, look, I'm wearing this shirt. You're killing your father, Larry. John, you're killing me. It's cringy to watch this. It is an embarrassing attempt to call this a film. It feels like just a bunch of things lapped together. And I get it. A road trip movie, there's not going to be one centric building or one location. It's constantly, we're here, we're there, we're floating around. New characters are tossed in every 10, 15 minutes, and none of them work. Everything that they are trying is just half-assed. I hated this movie. I cannot imagine a worse movie to review in 2020, and so help me God, if I think that there's going to be something worse than this, I'm not watching it. I feel duped. This is a low blow to compare it to anything, so I wouldn't. I know you're going to want to watch this movie. I know you're kind of curious, because I was too. I was like, well, it's a Big Lebowski. I mean, maybe. No. This ain't it, dude. The dude does not abide. Overall rating, what am I going to give it? It's a big time flop. I'm going to go ahead and give it 2 out of 10. I would not wish this movie on my worst enemy, of which I have many. Guys, that's going to be a wrap for this episode of Pop or Flop, and this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. I'm going to go ahead and leave some videos over here, and if you want, you got some time, click the cards up top. Check out some titles. Check out our full folder. And if you can, subscribe. Gutterball. That's